let's move to the agenda. So here we are today to speak about B2C marketing and how Typeform can help you in your B2C campaigns. We're going to be focusing on a particular use case around recommendation quizzes. Now, this is something that's proved very successful with many of our customers, and we're going to give you an overview into what product finder quizzes are before looking at a real-world example from an amazing skincare brand called Ogee, who are absolutely nailing it with their Typeform quiz. We'll then give you some ideas of how to build your own product finder quiz with Typeform, leaning on the latest features of Typeform, some of which you will have seen in the keynote already. Then one of our speakers is going to give you some best practices that they've learned from working with other customers to set you up for success. And then we're going to round up with a Q&A from our presenters. So speaking of presenters, let me flip on. We're going to be joined today by some prestigious, try and say it right, prestigious guests to help you understand how you can use Typeform to create these solutions to boost your conversions and engagement. So first up, we're going to be joined by Lauren. She leads onboarding at Typeform as part of the customer success team. She's got a huge wealth of experience working with companies who are building these types of product recommendation solutions. So very, very privileged to have her here. We're also grateful to have Elsa from our product integrations team, who's behind some of the fantastic kind of workflow integrations that we have. And she's going to be talking about how to embed these product recommendation quizzes into your business's suite of tools. We'll be hearing as well from Addison from skincare brand Ogee, as I mentioned. She's going to be explaining how she and the team are using Typeform to drive sales. Very, very exciting. So without further ado, let me hand you over to Lauren, who's going to explain a bit more about the value of product recommendation quizzes for B2B businesses, B2C businesses in particular. So over to you, Lauren. I'll flip the slide for you and yeah, take it away.
Thank you so much, James, for that fantastic kickoff. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for joining today. I'm really excited to be here with you. I work closely with customers every day, helping them use Typeform to meet their unique goals. And today's topic is one that I see come up quite often. We're focusing on B2C engagement for this Typeform session, and we're here to show you how Typeform can help you improve these conversations with your customers and ultimately drive higher conversions. I want to start with a quick customer story that may resonate with you. A recent customer of mine runs an online shop selling handcrafted home decor. And though she has a beautiful website and consistent flow of traffic, she noticed a frustrating trend. Visitors were browsing, but rarely making purchases. She needed more meaningful engagement to turn those casual clicks into loyal customers. She tried everything from discount codes to targeted ads, but still struggled to build a connection with her customers that led to strong conversions. And that's when she discovered the power of interactive content. By embedding a simple personalized Typeform quiz on her site, she invited visitors to discover their unique style and find the perfect home accents. The result? She saw not only an increase in the time spent on her site, but a noticeable boost in conversions too. If this feels familiar to you and your brand, this session will be highly valuable. Today, we're going to dive into strategies to help you connect with your audience, create meaningful interactions, and turn engagements into sales. So let's start by diving into some of the key challenges that we see coming up in this space, especially in e-commerce engagements between brands and their customers. Many e-commerce brands are seeing high traffic, but only a fraction of those visitors convert into paying customers. In fact, the average conversion rate for an e-commerce site is only about 2.5%, which means the majority of those visitors don't end up making a purchase. Shoppers may be adding items to their carts, exploring products, or engaging with the brand's content online, but many don't take that final step to complete a purchase. Around 70% of those online shopping carts are actually abandoned, which is a missed opportunity for brands to capture more revenue. And finally, there's a strong demand for personalization. Consumers are no longer satisfied with a one-size-fits-all shopping experience. In fact, 80% of shoppers are more likely to purchase when brands offer a personalized experience. So, creating unique and relevant customer journeys is essential to boosting conversions. This leads us to Elsa with Typeform's solution to these challenges.
Sorry. Thanks, Lauren. Hi, everyone. I'm Elsa. As Lauren and James just said, I'm one of the product managers at Typeform, and I'm really excited to be talking you through one of our favorite solutions for people like yourselves facing these challenges of today. As Lauren said, we're in this world where there's so much competing for your customers' attention, for all of our attention, and it's really hard to break through that noise. You have to engage potential buyers, encourage them to give you valuable information, and also do so in a way that's on brand, not overly salesy, authentic to what you're trying to do. And we have this solution of a product recommendation quiz. Some of you indicated that you're sort of new to Typeform in the poll James ran earlier, but to give you a bit of a background, we're the first conversational form tool. And if you've ever filled out a Typeform, you know what that feels like, and you understand the engagement there. We're going to show you how to leverage that engagement to get insights about your customers and turn them into leads. The person filling out the form goes through the step-by-step process, and we can show how to do this, how to use this to grab someone's attention and get the most out of a quiz. So once the users interact with their brand, they can share their needs with you that are specific to what you can actually sell them or give them. And you can tailor follow-up communications directly to those needs. So we're actually going to take a quick run through of the high-level features that you can use in a product recommendation quiz, and then we'll get into a little bit more detail later. When you start with creating a new Typeform, the first thing you'll want to do is put your questions together. So you can harness the power of our builder to create a highly personalized form when you're going through these steps. Beyond just asking questions about all of the things that are important to you, you'll want to use some of our other features that make Typeform unique. For example, you can ask someone's name in the first question and then use their name again later on in the form. So you're getting that personalized experience that drives a lot more people to engage with your brand. You can also bring in information with merge tags that you have from other sources. For example, you might already know their location or email address or something like that. And that makes sure that information you already have is incorporated into the quiz, and you can sort of take them on this specific journey that starts out really personalized from the very first question. The next thing you'll want to do is transform this form into a quiz. So you're then tailoring your journey of the customer to bring them a recommendation as their last part of the form. We would use an outcome quiz for this, and that outcome quiz can share the recommendation right away within the form at the very end. And we're showing you here what that would look like if a user is filling out a form to share their hair care needs. At the end, they might find out that they need the shampoo, our brand's best recommendation for their specific needs. We also know that one of the most important parts of these forms is to collect the user's information, which can then be used for follow-up communications, building a newsletter, all sorts of different things like that. So that's a key element of the form that you want to make sure you put in. And also, I'm going to give you some tips later on of where to put it within the form so you can get the most leverage out of getting that contact information. Finally, we know that as a marketer, the form isn't your whole strategy. It's just part of a longer journey that you're going on with your customers. So you're going to want to fit this form within your overall workflow and follow up with the users after they've shared their lead with you and shared their information with you. So you'd be able to create customized follow-ups either through our integrations or some other tools. And that's extremely important as well. So we're showing you this illustration to sort of show the power of the product recommendation quiz as it relates to these customers feeling like they're in a relationship with you when you're recommending something. So you can drive visitors to your storefront, then capture their leads, target follow-ups, and create personalized journeys that are much more akin to the sort of in-store experience that so many of us don't participate in these days. It can be a really powerful part of your customer communication strategy, and there's a bunch of different things that we can look into from here. But just to get more specific and concrete on this, I know you'll want to hear from a customer, so I'm going to hand it back over to Lauren for a more specific example.
Thank you so much. So with the rise of online shopping, more brands are turning to the personalized product recommendation quizzes to engage customers and guide that purchasing journey. So today we're going to look at a real-world example from a company called Ogee, who uses Typeform to create a product recommendation quiz for their customers. We'll take a look at how their Typeform works, and then we'll hear directly from someone on their team about their experience with Typeform. So Ogee's quiz is all about helping customers find their perfect makeup shade match using Typeform as an interactive tool. Here's how it works. The quiz uses a series of picture choice questions to help customers visually match their ideal shade. It's quick, it's easy, it's intuitive for anyone to use. When the respondent hits that submit button, Typeform's outcome quiz feature directs them to the end screen that presents their shade match. It also includes a button with the Shop Now call to action that, when clicked, will redirect the respondents to Ogee's product page with their shade match already selected and ready to be added to their cart. This reduces friction, making the shopping experience fun and easy. The last key thing Ogee is doing with this quiz is collecting email addresses. This allows for a personalized and targeted follow-up later in the customer journey. And now we're going to hear some quick thoughts from Addison at Ogee, the creator of their product recommendation quiz. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to be on this call with us today, so she did pre-record a video for us. And let's take a look.
What we were trying to accomplish was basically just instilling confidence in our customers when they're shopping products that are meant to match their complexion or to be makeup that is worn with certain complexions, like our complexion perfecting tinted serum and our sculpted complexion sticks. We decided to use Typeform in order to create a shade matching quiz. And we used the logic that was called the outcome quiz. So we could put weight on different questions and their answers so that they tied specifically to certain results. We did this because we really wanted to make sure that we had a robust quiz where each question meant something and basically landed you with a certain result, rather than having it just be like the typical quizzes that have a ton of really overworked tree branching and only just one or two questions determine the results. So the outcome quiz we found was the best solution in terms of allowing us to put weight on each question and allowing us to determine a fair and reasonable and accurate result. So what did the workflow look like and how did we integrate that with other tools? So first of all, we knew we wanted shoppable landing pages. So we bypassed through Typeform. There's a bypass the results page and skip to a different page option. So we bypassed the results pages through Typeform and we created custom landing pages that are shoppable, and essentially you can add to cart from those. That was the first thing we wanted to accomplish. The second thing we wanted to accomplish was passing results back to Klaviyo and Attentive so that we could segment and communicate further based on your results. The third thing we wanted to make sure we accomplished was being able to segment and follow up with campaigns that maybe were a bit more useful or relevant to customers based on their results. So we pulled segments based on results and based off of questions that we answered. For example, do you have dry skin, combination skin, or oily skin? That maybe didn't pertain specifically to what shade they were going to receive, but it allowed us to segment off of it and further send them more messaging with our campaigns after that. Why did we choose Typeform? So like I previously said, we really just wanted to make sure that we were putting weight on every question that we asked, because we wanted to make sure we were giving customers the most accurate results possible, but also that we were retaining the most information from our customers as possible as well. I would say we chose Typeform in order to make a more robust quiz where we could really leverage the answers we were getting from customers, and we found that it also allowed us to have the highest volume in our responses, because we do see a lot of uses and high volume with the quiz in general. What we were
Okay, so now that you've seen a quick example from a customer on their product recommendation quiz with Typeform, let's kick it off over to Elsa to learn how you can create your own.
Thanks, Lauren. So in this example, we're going to move from makeup to hair care. We're going to talk about this outcome quiz in the context of a brand called Glow & Co., which is trying to bring great hair care to all of our customers throughout the United States. We know our customers have unique hair care needs, and they have to do with your physical attributes or where your customers live, their budget, all of these things. So what the challenge that the marketers face at Glow & Co. is to get the information from their customers without making assumptions and really finding great ways to act on it. So yeah, the outcome quiz option is the best in this case. First, you're going to want to create those personalized questions like we talked about earlier to gather that information and guide users through the process of sort of diagnosing their own hair care needs. The questions might include things like contact information, as well as hair attributes, where they live, and their specific day-to-day needs. Here is the outcome quiz setup, and this is where you'd go after you've got your questions ready. And the thing that I want to call out here is how straightforward the setup actually is. Even though it feels like a really personalized and tailored experience for your end user, it's not super hard to set up. There are two different types of quizzes that are available in Typeform, and this is the one that brings you to a specific end screen based on the answers of the questions. The other one is called a score quiz, and that works really well for some other use cases as well. So what you're seeing here in this illustration is the end screens being mapped to that specific flow. And again, it's pretty easy for our Typeformers to create. A really great feature that I know was talked about in the keynote and is really exciting for everyone to hear about is video questions and answers. So there are so many brands out there today, and let's say Glow & Co. is one of them, where our founder has a great voice and is really engaging for our potential customers. Well, we'd really want to showcase her in a video question to ask our potential customers about their hair care needs. So we might share that video within our form, and we can give our customers the option to either answer with their own video or text. So this is a really cool new feature, and we're very excited about it. There are so many brands where that personal founder touch or hair care expert touch could be really, really powerful. Another thing that comes up sometimes, and this is another relatively new feature to Typeform, is partial submit points. One challenge that could happen with a quiz is that you're trying to get all this information from your customer, and maybe you've asked a lot of questions, and maybe they're one of those form abandoners that we know about in the world. Well, you can still gather their information and make sure that you've captured a lead anyway. So you could place the email or contact information question early in your form, and then directly afterwards insert a partial submit point so that you would gather that contact information, and then you could place your customer into a more generic flow if they haven't finished the form. Then for the people who have finished the form and they've told you tons of detail about their hair needs, you can put them into a specific flow, but at least you haven't lost any of those potential customers. So it can be a really powerful way to get the best of both worlds there. One great thing about Typeform is that it gives you a lot of control over your brand. And as you saw in the Ogee example, they've embedded the quiz directly into their landing page. This is something that is really important because you want to make sure your brand is streamlined between your form and the rest of your brand. We have something called Brand Kit at Typeform, which allows you to customize colors of your forms, add your logo, include typography, customize backgrounds, and even do button styling that aligns with your overall brand look and feel. So this is super important as well, as customers are giving you what they need. They want to trust that it's like a very aligned brand to what you're putting forward throughout your marketing strategy. Smart Insights is another awesome feature that we have. And this is something that feels like the marketer could really bring superpowers to 2025 planning. So they've got their leads, they've got the outcome quiz, and they can really create personalized journeys for their customers who fill it out. But with Smart Insights, they get that much more. You can find real-time analytics, behavior insights, conversion tracking, segmentation opportunities. You can optimize your form and do more with it over time and possibly influence your overall marketing strategy. So it's really taking that next step and becoming strategic based on what you're finding in the form and how the form is being filled out. So this can be extremely powerful as well. And finally, a topic that's near and dear to my heart as the integrations PM at Typeform is our extreme breadth of integrations. We already featured our Klaviyo integration in the keynote, which is coming soon to the Connect panel. We also have integrations with other marketing automation tools like MailChimp, which is in the Connect panel, OmniSend and Yotpo, which our partners built for us, and those are really powerful as well. And then if you're one of the B2B people who decided to stay in this workshop, we also have CRM integrations with things like HubSpot, Salesforce, many, many things. And in case we don't cover your specific CRM needs, we have Zapier and Make and all of those great workflow tools. Again, these forms can be embedded as well. So that's pretty easy to do in our shared panel. And with embedding and integrating, you've got this form as part of your overall marketing ecosystem, and you can leverage this to just make sure that those leads are flowing directly from the quiz to where your engagement team is trying to work with them. So I'm going to turn it back to Lauren for some best practices based on her customer conversations. So take it away, Lauren.
Thank you so much, Elsa. So now that you're familiar with how to set up a product recommendation quiz and you've seen an example of a powerful integration for it, let's talk about how to take this experience to the next level for your customers. We want to share a few best practices that will help you not only set up your quiz effectively, but also maximize its impact on your customers. These tips will ensure that you're fully equipped for success. So let's dive in. We've discussed a few of these already in this session, but I think it's really important to highlight some of these powerful tips. The first is to understand the customer problem. Start your product recommendation quiz with a question or scenario that highlights a known customer challenge. This immediately engages them and sets the stage for meaningful interaction. By ensuring that product matches address real customer needs, your quiz will drive higher engagement and ultimately increase conversions. The next tip is to keep it short. Reduce respondent fatigue by keeping your Typeform short, focusing only on questions that will drive a strong product recommendation. We recommend somewhere between 5 and 7 questions. Features like partial submit responses will help you collect valuable customer data, but getting respondents to that submit button at the end will ultimately drive higher conversion rates. The next, your quiz should make it easy to purchase. You can do this by linking directly to your product page on your Typeform end screens. For an elevated experience like we heard from Addison at Ogee, you can create custom landing pages on your website with your tailored product recommendations, and then send your customers directly to your site using our redirect to URL ending option. This way, your customers transition smoothly from quiz results to purchase. Next, we recommend integrating your Typeform quiz response data directly with your CRM or marketing tool to seamlessly follow up and nurture leads. This creates a consistent experience from initial interaction to conversion. The last tip is to share your Typeform quiz across multiple channels. Maximize the reach of your quiz by promoting it in social media, through newsletters, or embedding it directly on your website. This approach not only boosts brand awareness and captures new leads, but also helps those customers already exploring your website quickly identify products that they'll love, as we saw with Ogee's example. So as we wrap up the core content of today's session, let's quickly revisit what we've covered. We started with addressing the common challenge many brands face, which is high customer engagement, low conversion rates. We've explored how creating a personalized product recommendation quiz can be a powerful solution, supported by impactful features and integrations designed to create loyal customers. We also highlighted a real customer success story and shared key tips and best practices to elevate your quiz experience for optimal results. With these strategies and insights in mind, it's time to shift into our Q&A session. This is your opportunity to ask questions, share your thoughts, and dive deeper into any part of today's session. So let's open the floor to your questions.
Hey, Lauren, I see a question here that I think you will be very much poised to answer. So we had mentioned in our talk 2 types of quizzes, but only one went into detail. What's the other type of quiz and when would I use it?
Excellent question. Yes, Typeform has 2 native quiz features. One is the outcome quiz, which is what we discussed today, kind of like a personality quiz where you can identify which answer options for each question match and pair with which of your ending options. The other is a scored quiz. This is actually going to be really powerful when you want to apply numerical point values to each answer option. They're really common for like educational and training use cases when you want to measure knowledge in your respondents. So there are correct answers and incorrect answers, so you will only assign points to correct answers. And then you can use logic to segment your respondents through the flow depending on how many points they gather. Either they pass the quiz or they fail the quiz. It can also be really powerful for lead generation. If you want to categorize leads as hot leads or cold leads, you can assign different point values to their answers along the way, and then make sure that your teams are following up with the most impactful leads. Elsa, I see a question for you. So can you use a similar process to route people to set up consultations for B2B services business?
Yeah, so we definitely have the B2B use case pretty well covered with Typeform. So when it comes to the building of the form itself, it's not super different, but when it comes to what you're doing after the form, this is where your engagement strategy might change a bit. Some of the places where integrations come in is through our CRM integrations, as I mentioned before. And then we also have a Calendly block in our form. So you could actually set up calls with salespeople or things like that. And you can just action those leads very quickly in those different ways. We have a lot of materials on that as well, which I'm sure we can share. So yeah, check that out. All right, I see another question for you, Lauren. Ready?
Okay. Yes.
So one of the people here today did a product recommendation quiz before and had a really high drop-off rate. Do you have any suggestions?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, when we talk about drop-off rate, what we're discussing is at what stage in your form are respondents abandoning? So are they dropping off on question 1 or question 10? The great thing about Typeform is if you go into your responses and results section, you have drop-off analysis that will point you exactly to where respondents are dropping off in the form. We have discussed partial submit points as a way to collect leads, even if they don't finish, but ideally you want customers to finish this form and get matched with a product. So we have also sent out a new feature called the multiple question block. So essentially, Typeform allows you to have 1 question per page, which creates a really conversational experience. But in the event that you want to create a shorter experience for customers, you can strategically use the multiple question block to build your own question block with additional questions on it. Things like short text and multiple choice those can all fit within this multi-question block, and you can kind of group together similar and like questions to reduce some of that respondent fatigue. And then ideally, you're using a multi-question block kind of before you see that high drop-off rate in your form to help kind of speed up the process to completion. Elsa, I do see one for you as well. Or do you have a follow-up? Sorry.
Yeah, I see one that just came in about payment options. We have a Stripe payment block in our form. It's called the payment block. And you can use that. And there's a lot of different ways in which your respondents can enter their credit card information. If you're a Stripe customer, that's pretty easy to use. So that's covered there. There are some payment options which aren't available through Stripe, but it's something that we're hopefully looking into in the future. I think we're probably getting close to the end of our time for Q&A. Is there anything else that's burning on your end, Lauren?
No, I'm good to wrap. So let's kick off over to next steps. We're going to wrap up Q&A, but please don't worry if you still have outstanding questions. We will be sharing a variety of helpful resources in our follow-up to help make your recommendation quizzes a success. So the first thing, we've put together a comprehensive step-by-step guide to help you build your own product recommendation quiz. This guide is perfect for those who are a bit newer to Typeform, and it offers detailed explanations for each of the setup steps and links to additional Help Center articles. You can find the link in our webinar chat and in the resources tab for easy access. Next, we encourage you to join in on the conversation in our Typeform community. We have a dedicated post for today's session where you'll find links to the guide, a replay of this session, and the chance to ask Elsa and myself additional questions. We're sharing the link to that in the post, the link to that post in the chat now. And lastly, we'd love you to join our Tune Up Your Typeform workshop on December 12th. We're inviting all attendees to submit their forms, and we will select a few to review and optimize during our session. It's a great opportunity to get expert feedback and enhance the success of your forms. The sign-up link is being shared in the chat as well, and we will include it in our follow-up communications. So lastly, I will kick it off over to Elsa to close us out.
Thanks, Lauren. So thanks everyone who attended today. Up next, we have plenty more in Typeforum. The next workshop sessions are on feedback collection and creating dynamic events, and those will run at the same time, so make your choice. Head back to the lobby, pick which one appeals most to you, and don't worry, you'll still receive the links to all the recordings and a follow-up email so you can catch up on everything you missed. So yeah, we hope you enjoy the rest of the event. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Al.